Hi, I'm Whitney Salas, and today I will be talking about and teaching you guys about Bloom's taxonomy. First, Bloom's taxonomy is a structured, engaging learning that develops with time. This is like building blocks of information. So, basically, this happens a keyword over time. So, you start off as a beginner, and then eventually you work your way up to mastery, and you use little bits and pieces to work your way up. This has proven to produce higher order thinking, and it also increases the retention rate of information by students while they get to do active learning. To dig a little bit deeper into this, Bloom's taxonomy has 6 different steps. So the original version, it started off with knowledge, comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. And eventually they decided to make a stronger version where it's now remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, and creating. So, if we just want to break this down into simpler words, basically on the remembering step, this is your first time you're really seeing it and you're first starting to recall it. On our understanding step, this is almost like paraphrasing, trying to get bits and pieces of it, and applying is where you finally use that and finally use it to solve a question. Analyzing is where you're able to break it down and understand each and every step. Evaluating is basically like if you have 2 different things, you can compare it and decide which one's better, and find the more beneficial one. And then creating is basically once you have all the steps down, you put it all together and you can add and create your own like twist to it. So, personally, right now, I am in a pre-calc class at UGA, and I was able to apply Bloom's taxonomy in my learning there. So, going through those same steps again, remembering is basically like learning the quadratic formula. Let's plug this into math. So, it's like remembering is like the quadratic formula. Understanding is, again, paraphrasing, basically finally getting to use the quadratic formula and understand what pieces go in where, basically like finding your A, B, C, and D. Applying is, again, finally using it to solve questions, plugging in the formula and using it to solve. Analyzing is being able to break down each part of the question using that word problem and being able to figure out where you apply the formula. Evaluating is just like finding your 2 methods, uh, and again, just like if you have 2 formulas, figuring out which way's better, should I add, should I subtract here, which one works better? And then creating is putting all of that in together. And in a whole, this is why this is good for pre-calc is it can help you understand formulas and teaching you how to apply it. You need to work with time and move from building block to building block, step to step to be able to use the formula and apply it. So, challenges. Bloom's taxonomy definitely can be hard, and I would say my biggest challenge in this class is honestly the fact that it's a flipped class. Flipped classes basically are where you go UGA does this, it's where you go into class kind of knowing how to do it and why that and that obviously can be very challenging, but this is where Bloom's taxonomy can come in and be perfect. Honestly, with Bloom's taxonomy as a whole, I feel like some of the challenges might be like complexity of material and difficult framework. For example, like if you get to a certain step and you just don't know how to move past it, you can't keep working your way up. And that's why I think a big tip is make sure master your level. Like, do not try to move on until you can get that level passed. This might be by asking it for help, but do not try to move on without understanding it or make it a lot more confusing. So that's why finding and completing each step is very important. In conclusion, why you should start using Bloom's taxonomy today is it can strengthen your connection with the material and understanding of the material. It forces you to do active learning while doing this. It also is very engaging and produces high order thinking. It increases students' retention rate and lots more. Hopefully, you try Bloom's taxonomy in your class today.